Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Hey, you know what's the fastest way to become a millionaire? Well, it's easy. You just have to marry one. And the fastest way to be being a billionaire and then becoming a millionaire? Have your wife divorce you. Dr. Dre. Everybody forgot about Dr. Dre, but Dr. Dre is getting a divorce. And even though he has a prenup, he is going to still get raked over the coals. And I'm going to tell you why. Prenups it's kind of a dry subject, to have a guy come on and go, okay, let's talk about prenups and prenuptial agreements. A lot of you guys aren't ever getting married. Like I'd probably say 99% of you are never getting married. And so you kind of go, that's not a topic. But this is a great story because there's no better example I can give you of a man that has done everything in a relationship and a woman that has not. And then when she says, shocking guys, she's the one leaving him. Oh, shocking. He's the powerful guy, right? He's the money man. You'd think he'd be running off with the young thing, but nope. She's leaving him. Huh? Doesn't this go against everything we're always told? Oh, guys, these guys, man, once they become rich and powerful, they just toss women aside and they go out and, they want something newer and younger and they get the newest, youngest model. Nope. Surprisingly, Jeff Bezos' wife left him, billionaire. Dr. Dre's wife's leaving him, billionaire. So I still contend my statistics are right. 60 to 80% of marriages divorce at the hands of the woman. And here we have two prime examples, but we're going to talk about Dr. Dre's tonight. Two prime examples of a woman who didn't really bring anything to the relationship is going to leave, and she's going to rake him over the coals, but she's the one leaving. So we see here, Dr. Dre's wife is challenging a prenup in a $1 billion divorce. Now, she is 50 years old. And he's 55. I would not be surprised. She still looks, you can see in this photo, she still looks good. I mean, I don't know how much Botox and everything else she's done, but the point being, is she going to pull a Jada Pinkett Smith, and now she's like, look at all my money. I'm going to go be with young, weird rap star men. They say Dr. Dre's divorce is about to get messy. The rapper's estranged wife, Nicole Young, filed legal documents claiming she was forced to sign a prenup when they got married in 1996, and now Dr. Dre is worth much more. 24 years of marriage. Now, Dr. Dre might have been hoping, hey, I hope the mother of my children and the woman I've loved for the last 24 years, she's going to be with me when I'm grandpa, Dr. Dre, old and gray. And nope, he's going to have to start over again. Now, here's the thing about the prenup, see, and this is something I mentioned in one of my other videos a while back, is they can say they had to sign it under duress or stress, or they were pressured to sign it, and a lot of times it gets tossed out. Also, let's say, just for the sake of numbers, I didn't look at what Dre was worth back in the day in 96 when they got married, but let's say that Dre was worth $10 million. Well, you can sign the prenup, and that'll protect you from the $10 million you had, but it doesn't protect you from the $990 million you made since then. And I think he's out in California. I wouldn't be surprised, since that's where most of musicians and actors are. So that means that if this gets tossed, he's got to write her a check for $500 million. I mean, theoretically, but it's going to be a boatload. But I've also pulled up a page of all of Nicole Young's accomplishments so we can see what was her what did she bring monetarily wise and value wise to the relationship. She continues on, I was extremely reluctant, resistant, and afraid to sign the document and felt backed into a corner, said her lawyer to her, telling her how to get out of her prenuptial agreement. Allegedly. I'm kidding. But you could hear that. I mean, because remember, her lawyer's going to get paid on a percentage of what she's awarded. I would not be surprised if a lawyer's like, how can I make this work out very well for her and I? So they're just going to, and I have a prenup page that I'm going to bring up that explains some of the stuff. She says, I was left with no option but to hire a lawyer, and of course with the help of Andre's team of professionals. Andre is Dre's real name, and unwillingly signed an agreement very shortly before our marriage. Young also alleges the 2 years into their marriage, that Dre ripped up the prenup. Now, I'm going to read just the last paragraph here. Young is going to court in hopes of getting a large slice of Dre's sizable fortune, which is estimated to be around $800 million. All right, so he's not quite a billionaire, but guess what? After this divorce, the odds of him ever becoming a billionaire are even less. She's asking for all assets, including cash and real estate, be split. Give me half.
One of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody.
His prenup, that marriage certificate, man, just cost him $400 million. Dr. Dre earned most of his fortune from his successful headphone line, Beats by Dre, which Apple acquired for $3 billion. That year, the Death Row Records founder bought a $40 million home in Brentwood from its previous owners, Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. Okay, so who is Nicole Young? Well, I didn't find much information on her. There's not like a Wikipedia page on her. Why is that, you say? Well, because she's not known for anything else other than being Dr. Dre's wife. But she did bring some money to the relationship. How much? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Nicole Young, she's the wife of Dr. Dre. There's her largest accomplishment. An American record producer, rapper, record executive, audio engineer, actor, and entrepreneur whose real name is Andre Romel Young. What's that you say? No, she's not an American record producer, rapper, record executive. No, he is. All she is the wife of him. She was born in 1970. They've been married for 25 years, since 96, so 24 years. But she did bring money to the relationship. How so? How's that, you say? What did she do for work? Oh, she didn't do anything for work. She was previously married to NBA player Sedale Threat. So, again, here's like a bunch of little cool little gotcha moments. She brings money because she was married to an NBA player. So she got her original, that was like a Kickstarter. So she got her Kickstarter funds from Sedale Threat, and then she married Dre, and the money she brought into that relationship was from her first marriage, you see. And imagine being Sedale Threat, an NBA player, and you're like, man, I got a really beautiful wife. I'm married. I'm happy. Oh, my wife's leaving me? Oh, for Dr. Dre. So now she's left two very successful dudes and taken half. Give me half, Eddie, both times. Children, they have two kids, Truish Young and Truly Young. Dr. Dre has 4 kids from previous relationships. 6 kids total. The 4 children are daughters, and they give their names. Dr. Dre's divorce, they talk about what I just read, and net worth. Her net worth is unclear. Dr. Dre's worth is estimated to be $800 million. He's amassed his fortunes as the rapper and everything else they said. And Instagram. Nicole's Instagram account is set to private. Oh, crazy. So here's a woman that basically, and I didn't look at the ages, but if she was with an NBA player for 3 years and she was with Dre for 24 years, that's 27 years. She's 50. I think that's what they said, is that she's 50 years old or something like that. Let me look back here. I think if she's 50 years old, I think it's close to that. We'll just call it that because I don't want to spend that much time looking. In 27 years, she was married to very rich men. So from the time of 23 years old, she's never worked. She just married, dating, marriage, give me money, I'm leaving you. Oh, he's more successful, I'm going to marry him. And then 24 years later, thanks for the kids. Kids are all grown up. I still look pretty good. I want to hit the road. Give me $400 million. Thank you. As far as I can tell, she had no profession. There's nothing listed anywhere that I looked. So we'll wrap this up here with 5 things that can get your prenup dismissed. And this is from, Sadek and Cooper Law Offices. Number 1, spouse signed the prenup under duress. Oh, I've got to pull up a sound for that. I've got to pull up. One more time. One spouse signed the prenup under duress. Oh, and there we go. That's going to be the end of Dre right there. Old story of the less financially well-off spouse getting pressured into signing a prenup is a cliche because it happens A lot. Now, maybe she did. Maybe she was pressured to sign it. Well, wouldn't you if you were worth probably, several million? I don't know how much he was worth. So, well, he's pretty much done from that. The prenup is too one-sided. When you agree to marry someone, you are agreeing to share assets in common. It's fine to use the prenup to protect existing non-marital inheritance assets or intellectual property. It's not fine to have one where the spouse to agree, say, to a 70-30 split of marital property. So he's worth $800 million. She's worth zero, essentially. It's not going to work. It's too one-sided. He gets to keep too much. It's full of unforeseeable clauses. You can't create lifestyle clauses in a prenup. People have tried, but trying to force your spouse to maintain a certain weight in exchange for having rights to marital property isn't going to fly. Your spouse will have some rights on marital property, period, and a prenup can't tell your spouse how to live. You can't even add, okay, listen closely, gentlemen. This one is the huge elephant in the room. You can't even add an infidelity clause. Infidelity has no bearing on the division of property, on spousal support, or on child custody, or on child support. The sole exception is if your spouse spent a great deal of his or her marital assets on the romantic relationship, and you can't know this is going to happen when a prenup is being drafted. If it wouldn't be possible in a divorce, it's not possible in a prenup. So you can't make a prenup that says, hey, if she cheats on me, then no. No, you can't do that. And again, we've seen many times where the woman has cheated. And when I say seen, there's many stories. Some of you guys have the stories down below. Wife cheats, she decides to file, or the guy files because she cheated. Doesn't matter, half. Doesn't matter. So even if she decides to hook up outside the marriage, she doesn't get penalized for it. Now, does the guy? Well, not technically, but in the eyes of the court, many times they do. You want to talk about a golden parachute for a woman. He's successful. Much more successful than me. I can claim that I signed this under duress, so that prenup out the window. And then when you're married, you can decide, I'm going to cheat on him. And if I get caught, oh no, I get half his things and I get to be with the guy that I cheated on him with anyway. What a great deal. One or both parties committed fraud, failure to disclose assets when the prenup was signed. That's a no-no, so you can't hide assets. And one or both parties did not have a lawyer at the time of signing. So you can get a lawyer. You can have this drafted. You can give it to her. She can, in front of witnesses, say, oh, this is great. I'm fine with this. No problem. She signs it. And they say here, so while it's possible you can enforce a prenup without lawyers, it's highly unlikely. You run a great risk that the agreement will be thrown out. It doesn't cost much to have a lawyer look over it, so make sure both parties are fairly represented. So if there was not a lawyer present when she signed this, out the window. How screwed is he? I'm calling it now, man. He may not have to write a full 400 mil, but he's boned. And so you guys that say, oh, you know what, but when I meet them, I'll have a prenup signed. If you're worth $100,000 and you get married at 25 or 30, which is really the age you want to get married to have a family and to be able to retire without kids still in their teens, from the age of 25, 35, 45, and she decides to bail, everything that you have from the day you married until now is half. Now, yes, if she does very well, then you'll maybe get a chance at that half. Or if you both have done equally well, everything gets split 50-50. But what if she decides, you know what, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I don't want to work, so I'm not going to be bringing any income to the situation? Well, you're married, so everything you started earning from the day you're married until the day of the divorce is all equal property. So if she, again, messes up, does whatever, bails, you're on the hook for half of all that. And so at the age of 50 or 55, she can get custody of the kids. She, depending on the age of the kids and all that stuff. But in 86% of the cases here in the U.S. and 92% in the U.K., the mother gets primary or sole custody. So she can cheat because that's irrelevant to all this. She then files for divorce. Then she says you were mean or yelled or you were aggressive, whatever. Then she gets the kids. So now you're out half all your stuff, plus you're writing a check to her, plus you're the one that worked all the years. But she put in her equal time, for being a mom. Which, hey, I get it. Being a mom can be tough, but she didn't put it into the money pool. But she can take the kids away from you, but you can't take the money away from her. I'm telling you, man, it's a one-way dead-end street for marriage, at least the way things are right now. Guys, press F for Dre in the comments. I'm going to leave it there. If you'd like to support my work, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out Locals, betterbachelor.locals.com. I've also uploaded my entire library over to library, lbry.com, so you can go see it over there. It's at Better Bachelor, all one word, and I'll leave it there. Guys, this is Better Bachelor. I'm joking. Remember, doesn't matter prenup, doesn't matter anything. No marriage unless you're willing to do a coin flip for your future. It's not worth it.